Hello, my Italian food fanatics. Today, and actually over the course of the next few days, we're going to be making a marinated eggplant dish to be used as part of an antipasti spread. Now, this eggplant takes very, very little work on your part. It's time that really is the factor here. The first part is peeling and slicing the eggplant and then salting it, waiting 24 hours, then putting it in vinegar, then waiting another 24 hours, then putting it in the final marinade and then waiting. You can also use, at the end of this whole process, you can put everything in a boiled mason jar and leave it on the counter covered, and it will continue to marinate and develop flavor as well. So, without any further ado, let's get into the kitchen. But before we do, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell button so you know when I release another video. I want you to know when I release another video. Share with your friends if you're so inclined. Sharing is caring. And leave a comment down below. I'd appreciate it. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the kitchen and make this marinated eggplant. All right, let's get started with our marinated eggplant. I have one eggplant here, as you can see. It's a pretty big one, and I've washed it, and what we're going to do is we're going to peel it, and then we are going to cut it into strips, and we're going to put it in a bowl with salt, cover it with some plastic wrap, and let it sit for 24 hours. This marinated eggplant, it's a recipe that takes about 3 days. So let me do that, and I'll come back. All right, we're back. Our eggplant is peeled. And now we're going to cut it up into strips. I'm going to cut right down the center. This is a nice one because there's not a lot of seeds. Some of them have so many seeds in them, it's not even funny. And it's a fallacy to think that you can be able to look at the bottom of an eggplant and tell whether it's male or female. And if it's male, it's going to have less seeds than a female. You just buy them, and if you really don't want a lot of seeds, buy the Japanese eggplants. They are available all over these days. Much smaller, much nicer. But this eggplant we're going to do in the traditional way, the way they did back in the early 1900s, all the way through the 70s and 80s, where we're going to salt and then marinate in vinegar, and then in our spices and oil, and then wait literally 36 hours to do it. And then we're going to taste it. So let me cut these into strips, and I'll be back. When you cut into strips, you want to be able to cut so that the pieces are going to be manageable for anybody that's eating them. So what we'll have here is one strip like this. We'll now cut it into another strip this way, and let's say one more like this, and then we're going to cut these in half like that. So this is a manageable piece for somebody to eat. That's what you're really looking for. So I'll cut the rest of them up and we'll come back. You can see that this one, of course, is not perfectly, like a baton like this would be, but it's acceptable. All right, and you want them a little bit bigger than what you think you want, because they will shrink up as they lose their moisture. All right, our eggplant is cut up into strips like this. We're going to layer it. We're going to put some in here like that, and then we're going to add some salt. This is kosher salt, and we're going to salt this like this, and we'll put some more on here. Salt this, and I'm going to salt the rest of it here on the cutting board, just to pick up everything else. A little bit more, and we'll put it all in here, and we'll cover this with a plastic wrap, and we'll let it sit for 24 hours. I'll see you in 24 hours. And so this is day 2 of our eggplant. I'm going to remove it from the bowl, and you'll be able to see at the bottom all of the liquid that was released by the eggplant, because we had salted it last night or yesterday. And we're going to discard this, and we're going to take some paper towels and dry this off. I'll be back in a moment. All right, as you can see, I've spread out the eggplant on the paper towels. I'm going to take some more paper towel, place it on top, and we're going to pat everything dry. We want to remove as much of that bitterness, if there really is any, out of the eggplant. And then what we're going to do is pour it back into our bowl and cover it with vinegar. So let me dry these off and I'll be back. All right, here are our eggplant pieces. After I have thoroughly patted them dry, in fact, it didn't take just 2 or 3 times. It took about 5 different times with fresh paper towels each time to get as much of the moisture out as possible. Now we're going to take regular white vinegar, nothing special, just a jug white vinegar, and we're going to pour it over just to cover the eggplant. All right, white vinegar is very inexpensive, and so don't be shy with it. So there we go. The eggplant's submerged. Now we'll cover it with a plastic wrap, and we'll come back in 24 hours and drain these. See you in 24 hours. All right, our eggplant have been sitting in our vinegar for the last 24 hours refrigerated. I'm now going to drain the vinegar and pat the eggplant dry with paper towels, and then we'll move to the final step. Okay, here we have the eggplant on paper towels. I'll put another paper towel on top, and we're going to pat them dry like this. And I'm going to wash the bowl out and bring it back, and we'll put everything back in the bowl and go to the next step. All right, the eggplant have been patted dry. I'm now going to add them back into the bowl. And we're going to add in some oregano, some hot peppers, or red chili flakes, and some garlic. Now I'm going to peel the garlic and then smash it, and I'll come back and I'll show you what we do next. All right, so I've peeled this garlic, and we're going to give it a nice smash just like this. And we're going to put it in the bowl. We're going to mix everything up like this. We don't want small pieces of garlic. We want them sort of big like that. I added a little bit of extra hot chili because I enjoy the heat. And now we're going to take a regular olive oil, not extra virgin, because extra virgin is too harsh for this. And we're going to cover this all up. Now I used a little bit less than what I thought, and it ended up being perfect because it can now all be submerged without wasting oil. All right, so there we go. And now this will go into the refrigerator for 24 hours, a little bit longer, so another day, and we will taste it tomorrow. See you in 24 hours. Also, it's worth noting in this case that I'm going to take plastic wrap and I'm going to press it down onto our eggplant to basically submerge it and to keep it below the oil line, essentially. So it all marinates. None of it sticks up or anything like that. And then we're going to cover this again, and then it goes in the refrigerator. All right, see you in 24 hours. All right, it's time to check on our marinated eggplant. I've actually left it in the refrigerator for 2 days instead of just 1. And I removed it about 3 or 4 hours ago from the refrigerator so that it could come to room temperature. And now we'll dish it up, okay? I think it's very well worth it. I've had this in the past, probably 30 years ago. I had this the last time, and ever since then I've been waiting to make it again. It's a few days of work. However, you don't do much, as you can see from the different segments that I've put up here. So let's plate it up. All right, my Italian food fanatics, you saw me make it over the course of the last few days. I didn't really make anything. We just basically peeled an eggplant, sliced it into strips, and then marinated it. It was pretty simple. Of course, we had to salt it and then put vinegar and then make the final marinade. But here it is, finally. You saw me dish it up, and let's give it a taste. Now, believe it or not, this thing can stay submerged in oil, and it just gets better and better and better with time. Wow. That is delicious. The vinegar is still inside of the eggplant. It's got the heat from the red peppers. It has very little, it's not salty at all. You would think that it would be. But boy, is it good. With that oil. And remember, you're not going to be eating this alone. You're going to be eating this with a bunch of other things. Like, for example, a salumi board, cured meats, like prosciutto. So that will bring fat and a base notes to this marinated eggplant, which has a lot of vinegar flavor. So the two, when they combine, are fantastic. This is not something that you would eat on its own, okay? Just to warn you that you're not just going to sit here and eat this as an appetizer. It has to be mixed with something. Either that, or what you can do is you can dilute the vinegar so it's not as acidic, okay? Because this is very, very acidic. The flavor of the vinegar has permeated and gone into the cell structure of the eggplant, and you're going to get a lot of vinegar, okay? But I like that. I kind of like that. I'll mix it up with a little bit of the oil, or alternatively, you could drizzle oil over this. I know it's just coming out of oil, but you can take some, for example, some extra virgin olive oil and put it on here to lessen the bite of the vinegar. But when you mix it with meats and cheeses and bread, you go to town. And other accoutrements like vinegared peppers, things like that. It's going to taste fantastic. Wow. Anyway, before I let you go, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell button so you know when I release another video. I want to thank you very much for following my channel. If you leave a comment down below, I would appreciate it. Share with your friends, because remember, sharing is caring. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day. I want to thank you again for sharing this journey with me. I wish you good health, happiness, and prosperity. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.